Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. So today we are doing the second part of sports for 2025, and what we are going to primarily cover is what we did not cover in the first session. Is we are going to cover cricket today. We will cover Kho Kho. We will cover boxing, and we will cover tennis. Right? Primarily, these are four topics that we are going to cover. For those of you joining for the first time, I would request you to watch the first session that we did on sports, in which we had comprehensively covered Khelo India games, right? Um, and also the important awards that have been given, like the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratan Award, the ICC awards, and the BCCI awards. Okay. So before I get started with today's session, I'll just give you a little recap of what we did in the previous session. In the previous session, we had covered Khelo India. We had covered Khelo India Youth Games. The Youth Games was held in Rajgir, right? And this time it was won by, like last year, Maharashtra. Then we had also covered Khelo India Winter Games, and Winter Games this time was in two places. One is Leh and the other one is Gulmarg, and it was won by Services Control Board, which is basically the Army, Navy, Air Force. Okay, their team. Khelo India Youth Games mascot was Gaja Simha, right? Gaja Simha, Simha, and this is a combination of lion and elephant, right? And similarly, the Winter Games mascot was Cheneshi. Cheneshi is snow leopard, right? I'd also mentioned in the last session that Ladakh has got the highest number of snow population, right, which is at 477 out of total 718 snow leopard population in India. Okay, snow leopard is one of the 7 big cats that we are talking about in the International Big Cat Alliance, right? Also remember that Kyrgyzstan, a country with which we do this exercise called Khanjar, Kyrgyzstan, the capital is Bishkek. Their national animal is snow leopard, right? So, Khelo India, the venue has been the same. Okay, last year also it was the same, and I've also mentioned in that slide the edition. So this time this was the 5th edition, right? So remember the edition also. Okay. Similarly, I'm talking about the Winter Games here, the 5th edition. So just check the edition and the medal tally, etc. Okay. Then we had mentioned about the Khelo India water sports. This is introduced for the first time, and this was organized at the Dal Lake in Srinagar, and this was won by Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Khelo India water sports. The mascot for this is Kingfisher. Okay, the mascot for this was Kingfisher. Then we have the first edition of Khelo India Beach Games, and the Beach Games was played at Diu, and the winner was Manipur. Okay, the winner was Manipur. In fact, the third position was also by a northeastern state, Nagaland, right? And for the Khelo India Beach Games, the first edition, the mascot was Pearl. Pearl is a dolphin. Okay. All right. So primarily these four games and Khelo India University Games is also what you can check. Then we had mentioned about the national games. Now this time it was the 30th national games, and the 30th national games was played uh, at Dehradun and Haldwani, right? And this time it was won by Services Control Board. Again, the services team. Okay. The mascot for this was Molly. So Monal is the state bird for Uttarakhand, right? And the next 39th national games, 39th national games will be held in Meghalaya, right? And if you just look at the national games, I've also mentioned in the last PPT that this was earlier called as the Indian Olympic Games, right? When it started off, and it started off in Lahore in 1928, and thereafter, the name was changed to National Games. Okay. Uh, then we had mentioned about um, the Asian hockey um, that was played at uh, Rajgir again, in which India defeated South Korea in men's, and India is qualified for the International Hockey Federation uh, World Cup. Right, the World Cup is going to be played next year in Netherlands, and only once has India won the World Cup, and that was in 1975. Pakistan has won the Hockey World Cup maximum number of times, followed by Germany. Okay, and the International Hockey Federation, the headquarters is in Lausanne, which is Switzerland. Right. In the women's, we lost to China. Okay, and again, the game was played in Rajgir. Right. If you are asked this question, at what all places was Khelo India Youth Games played, then the answer would be it was played at 3-4 cities of Bihar, and a part of the game was also played in Delhi. So primarily it was Rajgir, then it was Begusarai, Bhagalpur, uh, and Patna, right? And even Delhi hosted a few events. So remember that. Okay. Uh, there is also a Khelo India Northeast Games. You can also read about that. Okay. All right. So Mansukh Mandavia is the Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. So we have already covered that. So I will not, delve more into it. Then please have a look at the awards, the BCCI Naman Awards, right? The CK Naidu Trophy went to Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. And if you look at the Polly Uminger Award, that went to Jasprit Bumrah, and in women it went to Smriti Mandana. Okay, and if you look at the ICC awards, then it is again Jasprit Bumrah, and in the women's segment it is Amila Kher. In the women's segment, it is Amila Kher. Remember that. Okay. So Lifetime Achievement Award, BCCI, Sachin Tendulkar is important. Okay. Also, if you look at Sachin, he is the youngest winner of Bharat Ratna. He's the youngest winner of Bharat Ratna. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to today's PPT, and we'll do a little bit of sports here. So first is Ranji Trophy. Now you have a detailed PPT here, but I'm more interested in just giving you the key points there. Now, if you look at Ranji Trophy, it's a first-class cricket championship, and it is organized by the BCCI. Now, remember, BCCI has been in news uh, primarily because there were elections, and Mithun Manas has become the new president of BCCI. The vice president is Rajiv Shukla, and the uh, the secretary of BCCI is Devajit Sethia. He's a former Assamese cricketer. So Devajit Sethia has, he has taken the position of Jay Shah. Now Jay Shah has become the youngest chairman of the International Cricket Council. Now BCCI is based out of Bombay, right? And ICC is based out of Dubai. It is in Dubai, right? So if you look at this trophy, this is named after Ranjit Singh Ji, right? And And that's about it. What we need to know here is that Vidarbha has won this, and the team that has won the maximum number of times is Bombay or Mumbai, right? And this tournament started in the year 1934. This tournament started in the year 1934. So, like I mentioned here, the most successful team till now has been Bombay, which has won 42 titles, right? It has won 42 titles. So that's what we need to know about Ranji Trophy this year. It was Vidarbha that has won. It defeated Kerala, and uh, and so the team that wins um the Ranji Trophy, it qualifies for a tournament which I'm going to take in the slide after this. Okay, now let's look at the Dilip Trophy here. Now, Dilip Trophy is again a first-class domestic cricket tournament, and this is after Dilip Singh ji, right? This started in the year 1961-62. Okay, and this time this was won by Central Zone. This time the winner of Dilip Trophy was Central Zone. So at best, this could be a AILET question. Dilip Trophy is related to which game? It is cricket, and who won this time? It was Central Zone. That's it. That's about it. You just have to. This is the Central Zone team that won the Dilip Trophy this year. Okay. Next, we come to the most titles has been won by West Zone till now. The most titles in uh, Dilip Trophy has been won by West Zone. Let's come to Irani Trophy. So I was telling you that uh, if you're looking at Irani Trophy, the Ranji winner eventually plays the Irani Trophy. And this was first started in Firozshah Kotla Stadium, which is in Delhi, and this is in the year 1959. Okay, and this was the 25th anniversary of Ranji Trophy. I mentioned to you earlier that the Ranji Trophy started in 34. Okay, and so this is after J. Irani, one of the longest serving BCCI treasurer and president. And this year, it was won by Vidarbha. Okay, so if you look at it, um, this year Vidarbha defeated the rest of India. Okay, and the most successful team has been rest of India here. So remember one thing. So a quick recap now. Ranji Trophy this year was won by Vidarbha. Vidarbha uh, defeated Kerala, and the most successful team till now has been Mumbai, which has won 42 times. The second slide that we saw was Dilip Trophy. So this year, the Dilip Trophy was won by Central Zone. The most successful team is the Western Zone. Then third we saw is the Irani Trophy, and the winner of the Ranji Trophy plays this against the rest of India. And this time it was won by uh, Vidarbha. Okay, this was won by Vidarbha. Okay, now so last month. Um, we witness India winning the Asia Cup. Okay, and India is the most successful team to have won this title 9 times. Right now, Asia Cup started in the year 1984. Right, so one-day format. Now we also have the T20 format. India has won this 9 times. Okay, India has won this 9 times, and Sri Lanka has won it 6 times, and Pakistan has won it 2 times. Okay, Pakistan has won it 2 times. So this time the matches were uh, played in Dubai, and and India defeated Pakistan in the final. So I think that's all that we need to know about this particular thing. This was a 17th edition. Okay, this was a 17th edition, right? And this time it was played in Dubai. So just remember that, and and that's about it. So the highest wicket taker was Abhishek Sharma, and the wicket taker was Kuldeep Yadav, right? And there was quite a scene here because India declined to take the trophy from the ACC head or president, and that is Mohsin Naqvi, right? So you could be asked this question that when was the Asian Cricket Council formed? The answer to this would be 1983, and earlier the headquarters was Colombo. Now the headquarters has shifted to Dubai. Okay, Mohsin Naqvi is the head of the Asian Cricket Council, and Asian Cricket Council is responsible for the Asia Cup. Okay, so quick recap. 17th edition of the Asia Cup, India defeated Pakistan. India has won this title maximum number of times. 9 times India has won, 6 times Sri Lanka has won, and twice Pakistan has won this. So we have mentioned this here. Okay, and so this was earlier in the ODI format. Now this one was a T20 format. Okay, so that's the Indian team. Okay, all right. Now, if you look at the Women's Asia Cup, so again the Asian Cricket Council is organizing this, and this was organized for the first time in 2004. So Asia Cup Men's organized in 1984. This is for the first time in 2004, and India has won this 7 times. Okay, India has won this 7 times. So we are going to the last edition was Sri Lanka. So this is after every 2 years. So last year Sri Lanka defeated India in the Women's Asia Cup. So most runs Mithali Raj in the, if you look at last year's performance, Mithali had retired by then. So this is most runs and most wickets. Okay, so I think just chuck this right now. 2024, Sri Lanka defeated, and before that, 2 years before that, India defeated Sri Lanka. So as far as I know, Mithali had retired by 2024. So this is not 2024 data. This is overall we are talking about. Okay. In fact, we had Mithali Raj last year to give away the prizes to the successful CLAT students. He's a great friend of ours. Okay. Now, if we come to Women's Cricket World Cup, I think we have witnessed history. Um, and this time, India defeated South Africa in the finals. And what a match it was. And we were able to, come from the brink of defeat in the initial matches, qualify for the semis, uh, and what a semi-final it was. Uh, and we qualified. We defeated the a team that has won 7 times, right? And Australia, and we qualified for the finals. And we were able to chase uh, a very tough target. Okay, so we defeated South Africa, and this was first held in 1973. Okay, and India has hosted the World Cup 3 times now. Okay, India has hosted the Women's World Cup 3 times. So this is held after every 4 years, uh, and that's about it. I mean, you must know the data here. 7 is Australia, England is 4 times, New Zealand has won one, and now India has won this. Okay, so this is the first title that India has won. So India has won not just the Women's World Cup this time; it has also won the Under 19 World Cup. Okay, and this was the second edition of the Under 19 World Cup where we defeated South. We defeated, I think, South Africa again, and this is 2023 was the first edition. 2025 was South Africa, and this was played in Malaysia. Okay, so this is what we need to know here. Yeah, we defeated South Africa, and the next edition is going to be played in Bangladesh, okay, and Nepal. So this is the under 19. So why I've just mentioned this because the women's brigade has been performing, so we should generally know where they have been winning. Okay. Okay. Now we also had the World Test Championship, and this is happening every 2 years now. The World Test Championship was proposed by the great West Indian batsman Clive Lloyd, and this thing, the process began um, from 2019. Now, if you look at it, the first tournament was won by New Zealand, the second one by Australia, and now the third one has been won by South Africa. Okay, South Africa defeated Australia, and this was played at the Lords. The next cycle is 25-27, so you would have uh, teams participating, and finally the grand finale will be in 2027. Again, it's going to be played at the Lords. Okay, so this is as far as the cricket part is concerned. This is the South African team that won the World Test Championship. Okay, and this was a third edition of the championship. Yeah, so this is 19 to 21 was the first edition, 21, 23. So it takes time because test matches usually, it takes time. It's a 5-day thing. So you have many, the tournaments happening across, and finally the grand finale, which happens at the Lords. Okay. Now, next we are coming to this particular event, which was hosted, in by in Delhi, World Para Athletics Championship, and in this, Brazil got the maximum medals, right? And this was played at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. What we have also heard recently about Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium is that they're going to convert it into a sports city. And since India is bidding for the 2036 Olympics, has planned to bid for it, they want to showcase Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium as the ultimate sporting facility, so that we win that particular bid. Okay? So what we need to remember here is that India hosted this para athletic championship, and I've given you some dynamics here. People who have won it. That's not very important. You can actually chug this, and but you must know this, that Devendra Jhajaria is the president of the Para International, the Indian Para Athletic Paralympic Federation is led by Devendra Jhajaria. So he is a javelin player, and he has won 2004. He won the javelin Olympics in Paralympics in javelin, and then he has won it again once more in 2016. Okay, Devendra Jhajaria. Okay, all right. Then we have the World Boxing Championship. In the World Boxing Championship, this was played in Liverpool. Two Indians have done quite well, and they are Asmin Lamboria, okay, who won a gold medal in the 57 kilos category, and Meenakshi Huda, who also won a gold medal in the 48 kg. Right, so India has won 2 golds in the World Boxing Championship. Okay, the World Boxing Championship, if you look at the Boxing Federation, the headquarters is again in Lausanne in Switzerland. Okay, Kho Kho World Cup, again very simple. Kho Kho World Cup was played in Delhi, and in this, India defeated Nepal in both men and women. Okay, I just have to confirm the location once, where it was played. So the headquarters of the International Kho Kho Federation is Delhi. So you can just check once as to where this game was played. As far as I remember, it was Delhi. Yes, it was Delhi. So Tejas and Tara, these were the two mascots. Tejas and Tara were the two mascots for the Kho Kho World Cup this time. Okay. All right. So yeah. So now what I'm going to do is a quick recap, and then we will start tennis. Okay. So let's just do a quick recap now. Okay, let's just do a quick recap. So we have looked at, so I'll just remove this and just do a quick recap before we move on to tennis. So Ranji Trophy, India who won? Vidarbha won. Okay. Irani Trophy, I'm just writing the name of the winners. Vidarbha won. Defeated rest of India. In the Ranji Trophy, Vidarbha defeated Kerala. Bombay has won. Mumbai has won maximum number of times, 42 times. This is after Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji. This is after Dilip's. Okay, Dilip Trophy is left. Dilip Trophy. So this is after Dilip Singh Ji. Okay, Dilip Trophy was won by Central Zone. Then we're looking at the Women's World Cup. We're looking at the Women's World Cup. Okay, where India defeated South Africa. Okay, the Indian team is led by Harmanpreet Kaur. Okay, Harmanpreet Kaur, and Australia is the most successful team with 7 wins. And the Women's World Cup was played in India. Okay, and Sri Lanka. The finals was played in Bombay at DV Patil Stadium. Then, if you look at the Women's World Cup under 19, this was played in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and India defeated South Africa. Okay, India defeated South Africa. So, if you look at the women's segment, India defeated South Africa. Okay, so then we also looked at the boxing championship. This was played in Liverpool, and India won 2 gold medals in the boxing championship. Right, in the boxing championship, India won. Uh, India won 2 gold medals. Also, I told you about the World Test Championship, right? The World Test Championship, and this was the third edition of the World Test Championship and Test Championship, and it was won by South Africa. South Africa defeated Australia and was played at the Lords. Then I also mentioned about the World Para Championship. This was played at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. I told you also about Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium that they're going to make this a sports city. India is bidding for the 2036 Olympics, right? And Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium is going to be proposed as the host center. So we also know that Commonwealth Games, India will be hosting it in 2030, and this is going to be played in Ahmedabad, right? The Commonwealth Games. Then I told you about the World Boxing Championship. The World Boxing Championship. So Meenakshi Huda and Lamboria, Asmin Lamboria, they have won the gold medal. So this is Liverpool, UK, right? The Parathletic Championship, the country that got the maximum number of medals was Brazil, right? Brazil got the maximum medals, and this was followed by China. Okay. So now these are some of the things that was missing in the last PPT. What I have also not covered is tennis. See, as far as tennis is concerned, just stick to Grand Slams. You don't have to do the ATP tournaments. Okay. Now, if you look at tennis, we are going to look at the 4 slams. What are the 4 slams? We start with the Australian Open. Okay. And then is the French Open. And then is the, after Australian and French, then we have the Wimbledon. ठीक है, और इसके बाद हमारा होता है US Open. Now Australian Open is played on synthetic court. It's a hard court. So both of them are played on the hard court. This one, this and US Open. Wimbledon is played on grass court and French Open is played on clay court. Remember this. The oldest Grand Slam is the US Open. Okay. The oldest Grand Slam is US Open. I'm sorry, the oldest Grand Slam is Wimbledon. The Wimbledon started in the year 1877. Okay. And then it is the US Open. The US Open started in the year 1881. And then the French Open, which started in the year 1891. And finally, the Australian Open, which started in the year 1906. Okay. US Open is played at a place called Flushing Meadows. Flushing Meadows. Now, Flushing Meadows is in New York City. Okay, it is in New York City. And the name of the stadium is called as the Arthur Ashe Stadium. So he was one of the US greats. Okay. And so the name of the stadium is the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Wimbledon is, of course, played at the Wimbledon. And so this place is in London. If you look at the French Open, the place where it's played, it's called the Roland Garros, which is in Paris. Okay, it's Roland Garros, which is in Paris. Okay. And the Australian Open is played at the Rod Laver Stadium. It is played at the Rod Laver Stadium, which is in Melbourne. Okay, which is in Melbourne. So Melbourne is the capital of Victoria, which is one of the states in Australia. Okay, so these are the 4 Grand Slams that are played. Now let's look at the winners for this year. The winner for this year in the Australian Open. So you start with the Australian Open, which is end of January, right? Um, and in the Australian Open this time was won by Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner. So he is an Italian, and the second in the women's section, it was won by Madison Keys. It was won by Madison Keys. Okay, so Madison Keys is from US, and she is from Italy. Okay, French Open. French Open was won by Carlos Alcaraz. Was won by this Spaniard who has replaced the nation sensation, Spain sensation, Rafael Nadal. So he is um, he so you know Rafael Nadal at the French Open, they had honored him by having a plaque which is right at the center court. And since Rafael Nadal has won 14 French Opens, so out of 22 Grand Slam that Nadal has won, 14 are French Open. So he has a plaque which is there right at the center court. What an honor. And this is the first time that an honor like this is won maximum French Open. Okay. Australian Open, the person who has won maximum number of times is Novak Djokovic. French Open, of course, it is Rafael Nadal 14 times. And if you look at Wimbledon, okay, now in women it was Coco Gauff. In women it was Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff is from USA, and this one is Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz. So both these guys are the tennis sensations now, and I feel the kind of rivalry that Roger Federer had later with Rafael Nadal and then Novak Djokovic and even Murray. So that kind of rivalry we are going to see with these two guys, right? So Carlos defeated in a thrilling 5-setter. Wimbledon this time was so Sinner took his revenge, and so Jannik Sinner won the Wimbledon this time. So this was won by Sinner. Sinner won the Wimbledon, and Iga Swiatek from Poland, right? Iga Swiatek from Poland. She's a former world number 1. she won the Wimbledon. So Sinner has become the first Italian to win the Wimbledon. And then we have the US Open. The US Open was won by this Belarusian player and now world number 1. Okay, her name is Ariana Sabalenka. Women's was won by Ariana Sabalenka, and men's again it was Carlos Alcaraz versus Jannik Sinner, and it was won by Carlos. So tennis men's is quite easy, right? Because you have like between these two guys. So this time Sinner won the first and the third tournament, which is the Australian Open and the Wimbledon, and Carlos won the clay court, that is the French Open and the US Open, right? But in women, all of them have been different. So you start with Madison Keys, right? US, and then it was Coco Gauff, and then it is Iga Swiatek from Poland, and now we have the Belarusian player, which is Ariana Sabalenka, right? So that's tennis. And just a little key points about tennis that you should remember is that Novak Djokovic has won the maximum number of Grand Slams at 24. Okay, so if we look at the total number of Grand Slams, right, it's only matched with Margaret Court, right? So the other person that you should remember is also at 24 is Margaret Court. So there are two of them, Novak Djokovic and Margaret Court, right? But if you look at the professional era, just the professional era, then we are going to look at Novak Djokovic, and in women's we are going to look at Serena Williams. So Serena from USA has won 23 Grand Slams. She has won 23 Grand Slams. Okay, the person who has won second highest in men's is uh, Rafael Nadal. I just mentioned to you about it, and in the and of course, uh, and third one is Roger Federer. So if you just look at it, 24 with Djokovic and 22 with Nadal and 20 with Roger Federer. So amongst the three of them, they have got 66 Grand Slams. So they actually ruled the last 20 years. And Novak is still on. I just hope and wish that he can make it 25. So he's 38 years old and he's still pushing his limits. But these two youngsters, Carlos and Sinner, they're really making it tough for him. But I just hope that he's able to, get one more Grand Slam. Okay. Also, remember there is something called as Golden Slam in tennis. And what is a Golden Slam is that if you win the four Grand Slam, which is the Australian, the French, the US, and the Wimbledon, plus if you win the Olympics the same year, right? Then it is uh, it's called a Golden Slam. Okay, and till date, only Steffi Graf, okay, has won the Golden Slam. Okay, Steffi Graf is one of it was my favorite in the 90s and even 80s. She's been one of the best players and very stylish. And she won the 1988 all the slams that year and the Olympics also, right? So 1988, I think then the Olympics was played in Barcelona, and she won all four of them plus the Olympics. That's called the Golden Slam, right? Uh, the most successful Indian in tennis has been Leander Paes. In fact, he was the second Indian to win an Olympic bronze, right? Um, the first Olympic medal by an Indian after independence was KD Jadhav. This was 1952 at the Helsinki Olympics, right? And this was followed by um, uh, the next medal was um, by Leander Paes. Okay, so he won it in 1992, and this was played in Atlanta. Okay, so Leander Paes has been one of the most successful Grand Slam winners from India, and in fact, last year, Rohan Bopana, right? He was in news because he became the oldest amongst the men to win a Grand Slam. He won the doubles last year. Okay, and he was the oldest. He was in news this year because he is now retired from competitive tennis. Okay, so yeah, so that's about tennis. The sports as a topic is not very important, but yeah, last year there were 6 questions coming from sports in the AILET examination, but I think we have uh, covered most of the important topics. Do have a look at the Khelo India games, right? Do have a look at all the Khelo India games, youth games, and the winter games, and uh, the Northeast games, right? And the water sports, Khelo India water sports that started this year, Khelo India beach games that started this year, right? And so the Khelo India, 5 of them, the Khelo India University games, right? So please do have a look at them, and uh, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Mansukh Mandavia, right? Look at the national games. Look at, wherever Indians have won. So this time, Mirabai Chanu, she won a gold medal in the Commonwealth Games in weightlifting. So keep that in mind as well, right? Also, Abhinav Bindra is going to be um the torchbearer at the next Winter Olympics, right? So the next Winter Olympics is going to be in Italy, and the torchbearer is going to be Abhinav Bindra. So Abhinav Bindra was the first Indian in individual sport to get a gold medal. So in 2008 at the Beijing Olympics, he won India's first gold. India's second gold was won by Neeraj Chopra, right, at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, which was played in 2021 because of Corona. So yeah, so he's going to be representing the torchbearer for the Indian team at the at the next Winter Olympics, 2026 in Italy. So you see, Winter Olympics is played uh, after 2 years of Summer Olympics. Summer Olympics last year was in Paris, right? So 2024. So this is 2026 now. 2028, you again have the Olympics, which is in Los Angeles. And with this, USA will have hosted the Olympics maximum number of times, 5 times. Abhi tak France, France and UK have organized Olympics three times, but USA with Los Angeles is going to be organizing it 5 times. Uh, and then after 2028, you have 2030 Winter Games, which is going to be at the French Alps, right, which is in France, and then 2030, 2032, 2030 you have the Winter Olympics, and then 2032 you have the Summer Olympics, which is going to be in Brisbane, uh, right? So Brisbane is the capital of Queensland, again one of the states of Australia, and then 2034 it is announced again. It is going to be in Utah. The Winter Olympics is going to be in USA at a place called Utah, right? Um, so earlier, the Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics would be the same year. 1924, the Winter Olympics started. It started from France, but then from 1992 they have separated it. I mean, there is a gap of 2 years between Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. Okay, so that's it from CLAT Possible side. We have given you enough inputs for sports. You could make your notes, and I wish you guys all the very best for the upcoming examination. Thank you very much.